So, you were the one leading the fight against my forces in Numbani.
Yes, a fight you did not attend.
Another location demanded my attention.
Did you fail there too?
Hey guys, this is Shroomy, Mushroom, Shroomster, Mush. I have a lot of different names, and I just really like lore. So, since the story seems to be coming back in some way, I think it's finally time we go over the new members of Overwatch. Specifically, the few additions to Overwatch that we've gotten since Overwatch 2's PvE. And no, I don't mean the invasion team, which were those in PvE. What I'm more talking about is the characters that have been added since then. There have actually been 3 more additions, so let's go over who they are and how it exactly happened. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for all the support on the videos as per usual. If you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe, the whole thing. So, let's get into this topic. Obviously, with Overwatch 2, we got the new Blood team from the comics and the new Overwatch team meeting and forming just one big group. But since then, more characters have chosen Overwatch, those 3 being Juno, Orisa, and Wuyang. All 3 have happened mainly in the background and off-screen, while some are more prominent than others, like with Wuyang. Let's get started explaining how these 3 joined with Juno. How exactly did she get here, and why? After the events of Juno's hero trailer and her comic, she gets a message from Athena, the Overwatch AI. You can see this moment in her hero trailer itself. From there, her story mainly happens through voice lines in-game. Here's the main one, where it explains how exactly Overwatch found her after she landed.
How did you and Winston even find me? I wandered so far from my landing site.
We just had to ask the locals. Not every day a Martian drops out of the sky.
I suppose it must have been a spectacle.
So, yeah, she's definitely with Overwatch, and it seems Tracer and Winston maybe went to go get her after her pod landed, and you can even see her pod in-game in Gibraltar. Of course, with that, you can see the May photo as well, just sitting right next to the pod. Personally, I think it makes sense for her to just be here now, since May is the only real family she has on Earth. So, I think Juno being in Overwatch as well is just a really good thing for her character, because we'll not only get to see her interact with May and other heroes, but we may even get to see her main plot of saving the Mars colony move forward in small ways. I think a big issue with Overwatch is a lot of characters' stories kind of just freeze as other stories take over or they don't get screen time, so consisting and putting more characters in Overwatch to consist of makes a lot of sense, and this is probably the best way they could move that plot forward, so I'm excited to see where she goes in the future. While Juno's introduction to Overwatch is probably the middle ground where it's not really hard to explain but not really well known, the next heroes is a lot harder to explain with Orisa. Her inclusion has been a long time coming. Since all the way back in Overwatch 1, the hero of Numbani, it was teased that she would join thanks to her connection to Lucio, as well as her kind of connection to Sojourn, but I'll explain that more in a bit. In the short story Unity, which released with Heroes Ascendant, we finally got a continuation to her story as well. I highly recommend reading the story itself, but as a recap, Null Sector invades Numbani. Here, we see Ify and Orisa have to defend the city. While they fight on, Ify starts to realize the threat of Null Sector affects everyone globally, and she wants to do more. To save Numbani itself, she makes the Junies, the small robots across Numbani that you can see in-game, able to fight back. When she does, the Null Sector invasion is thwarted almost instantly, it seems. But Ify decides she and Orisa should join Overwatch. At first, Orisa is hesitant, as she was made to protect Numbani and it's her home. Ify convinces her that she would protect the whole world by doing this, so she agrees, and the two head over to Overwatch. Also, in the story, we get confirmation that Ify and Sojourn have met, as implied in Hero of Numbani, so I assume they called Sojourn to get them a ride. The two are now in Overwatch, and we get to see stuff on that in-game.
How's it feel to be stationed at Gibraltar?
It is incredible. Ify has always dreamed of this.
Yeah? Well, Overwatch is all the better now that you two are a part of it.
Part of Overwatch. How amazing.
I'm glad these two found their way here, and I hope it helps both of their characters get more focus and lore in general. I think Orisa in particular really needs some more canon moments of interaction between her and other characters, as well as just having more friends aside from Ify. I think this could be really good, and I really like the photo that's on Numbani in-game now, where you can see Orisa and Zarya, like, hanging out, basically. I think it's really cool, and I want to see more of that dynamic in particular. And lastly, for talking about characters who joined Overwatch, we're going to talk about Wuyang. So we can see his decision in his hero trailer itself, so I won't really focus on it too deep, and I already made a video as well covering this just in general. So I go over more into detail there, but for here, I'll just say Wuyang and Anran seem to be on the way to Overwatch, as I believe Sojourn has given them the medals, as implied in this interaction.
Man, you sure you guys invited the right person to Overwatch?
I'm sure. Winston was very insistent.
I think I know my answer, but I need some time to let it sink in.
I get it. It's not a decision to make lightly.
Sojourn gave them the medals, it seems. Combined with how she's an ace pilot, she probably could get there fast. I think these two heading to Overwatch is also a really good thing, once again for the same points I talked about before, which is mainly to push the plot forward and keep them involved as well. I can't wait to see how they interact with the greater group, especially because of Wuyang and how Anran, which are two siblings, which we don't really have many of those in the Overwatch faction itself, or really in-game. I'd love to see how that kind of dynamic plays out with a larger group as Overwatch itself. And those are the 3, well, technically 5 if you include Ify and Anran, characters coming to Overwatch. So all of these heroes are really, really, really exciting, and I can't wait to see them kind of interact with the rest of the cast and their dynamics. And for the rest of this, I just kind of want to speculate on some of the characters I'd love to see talk, and some of the characters I'd love to see just kind of interact more. For Juno, I would love to see Juno kind of talk with Mei, but also talk with pretty much anyone. I think Juno's a really interesting character when she's allowed to be explored in the facet of like how she would interact with other heroes, as well as just moving not completely away from the idea of being new to Earth, but kind of exploring other avenues for her character. Seeing how she interacts with weird concepts like Tracer and time travel, or a talking gorilla. I think Winston in particular, jumping off that, would be a really cool character to see Juno have more of a plot with because of their connection to Liu Chang. Liu Chang is a character in Juno's story that is kind of just in the background, and I'd love to see her have more of a focus on the company, as well as maybe eventually see her talk with Hammond about it someday. I think that would be a really cool little group to have more interactions with and talk about, and I really hope Juno gets more of this bigger lore emphasis that I think she really deserves. As for Orisa, I really want to see Orisa just kind of branch out, like I said before, and talk more with the rest of the cast. I think a big issue with Orisa's character, she seems to just be a product of Ify in the sense of she is just Ify's catalyst for the cast. In Overwatch 1, this wasn't much of an issue because she was basically made to be that thing, that idea of Ify and Orisa being the same character, where Orisa exists to be Ify's stand-in on the roster. But in Overwatch 2, they've really expanded Orisa to be her own character. She's very different from Ify, as we can even see in Unity. And I really want to see this own character spread her wings a little bit and be able to explore what it is to have friends not with Ify. Because I think Ify is kind of the main thing that shackles her down, which, of course, that dynamic should never change, and I do want Ify to still be a part of her life, but I still want her to prove herself as being truly alive, like some interactions I've kind of implied with, like, Ramatra as an example. That's kind of it for Orisa. I know that's one a bit more open, but I just kind of want anything with her in general. And lastly, for Wuyang, I kind of talked about it before, but I want more interactions like this one I'll post now between Baptiste and Wuyang.
Hey, I saw you in Winston's reports on the Chengdu attack. Way to stick it to Null Sector.
It was nothing. My sister did most of the heavy lifting. I just got people out safe.
Protecting our friends is a noble thing. Be proud of what you do.
Thanks, man. It's nice to hear the reminder.
I just love seeing Wuyang interact with the cast like this in general. I think he's really great. I'd love to see how he interacts with like Juno, as an example, as both younger members of Overwatch. Or I just would love to see Orisa, Juno, and Wuyang talk in general. I think these three are a cool little trio, and I would love to see them explored a bit more, especially because they're kind of the new guys, or the new kids, you know, here. So yeah, I would love to see those three explored as a group, or as a little dynamic in general going forward. And that's about it. I just wanted to make this video to kind of catch people up to speed on who's joined Overwatch since the Null Sector invasion began, and now that it's ended, I think it was a good time to finally talk about who exactly is here now. So, if you have any questions or ideas or theories about where the story could go, please leave them below. I love to see all the love on the lore and the story, and I really appreciate everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe, like I said before, and I will see you guys in the next one.